This is Debt Free in 30, where every week we take 30 minutes and get practical advice from industry experts about personal finance and living debt-free. Here's your host, Doug Hoyes.
Many people will tell you it's a great time to be actively managing your finances because financial technology, or fintech, makes it so much easier to manage your money better. Fintech used to just be about online banking, but now it includes any new technology that's used in the world of banking, borrowing, money management, and investing. Remember when you used to go into a bank and talk to a real person? Not anymore. Thanks to fintech, everything is online or done through an app on your phone, which is great for the bank because they need fewer branches and fewer employees, so they save a lot of money. But do these savings get passed on to you? And how many websites use chatbots, a computer program designed to simulate a conversation with humans? You can ask it questions and it will give you pre-programmed answers, all without a human being at the other end. That's great, but will the chatbot give me as good a deal as a human? And just how secure and private is all this new technology? Lots of questions, so today to get some answers, I'm joined once again by the big Cajun man, Alan Whitton, who was a guest back on episode 160, one of our most popular shows, where he talked about how he survived a layoff after 20 years at what was then Canada's biggest company. He also returned on episode 165 to talk about one of his areas of interest, RDSPs, and he's the man behind the Canadian Personal Finance blog, one of Canada's oldest and best personal finance blogs. And he spent 35 years in the tech world. So he's the perfect guest to talk about fintech. So let's get started. Alan, welcome back.
Well, after that introduction, oh my goodness, 35 years? Yeah, well, that sounds about right. Oh.
So that makes you an old hack then, right?
A very old hack, that's for sure. In a positive way.
Absolutely. I'm using it as a term of endearment. And we are here in Ottawa, which is where you are based, here in my Ottawa office, to talk about this. So I want on today's show to have, the old hack tell us what impact fintech will have on people in debt, and then we'll talk about a bunch of other issues as well. So I get the concept of fintech, at least I think I do. So for example, if I'm an investor, I can buy an ETF, which is, a fund created by a computer. I think of that as fintech. Or a robo-advisor maybe is a better example, where, the robot, the computer figures out how it all works, and as a result, I save fees. So instead of paying, 2% on the fund, I'm paying half a 1% or something like that. So that all sounds good. Is there any application for fintech in the world of debt?
Yeah, I mean, things like Quicken and Mint and Excel, if you really want to go down to bare bones and, have an Excel spreadsheet with all of your stuff in there, I haven't really seen any debt-specific tools on how to, help you other than budgeting tools.
So, and now why is that?
Well, okay, in your business, there's a lot of money in debt, but in technology, it's very much how much money can I make? Now, the people at Intuit, who are no longer the owners of Quicken, so I guess it's now Quicken, they're trying to find their niche, and they're having a hard time trying to keep the business rolling, I think. So, helping people budget, helping people save money, I don't know. I just don't feel that the technology is there yet.
So is it as simple as there's no money to be made in that, and therefore nobody is devoting a whole lot of energy to coming up with some fancy way to do it?
I don't think it's no money. I just think there's not enough money. Whereas, in banking and in investing and robo-advisors and things like that, it's sexy, it's money. The banks are going to want to buy you. Banks invest in things that make them money. So if you get people to invest in things like that, great. Having people pay off their debts,
Well, in fact, it's the opposite of making money. If I pay off my mortgage with the bank's not making any money on me.
Yeah, and I don't mean to make banks sound like dark, nasty things, which they might be, but
So I can quote you their dark, nasty things. Okay, continue.
Evil would have been the word I would have used,
yes,
but
there
okay.
you go. Cool.
I won't say who I bank with, although if you read enough of my articles, you'll know exactly
it's not
who
hard
I
to
bank
figure
with.
out.
Yeah, so I'm not making friends there. But, as we were talking about previously, you got to, where is the money coming from?
Follow the money.
Exactly. And I mean, if there's money to be made, people are going to make things happen that way. And I've had a few people approach me with budgeting ideas and financial planning idea software that they're looking for money to be put in. And you're not getting any money from me because I'm a government employee. I don't make money. And also they want me to try things out. And I'm going, well, if you want me to hack it around or smash it up, sure, I can test it for you. But there are more people that are offering me, cryptocurrency. We'll make $1 billion off cryptocurrency doing this fantastic thing.
Yeah, okay. 2018 hasn't been a great year for that, but I don't know, maybe next year or the year after will be where it turns around.
Below 5,000 now?
Yeah. It's
today, anyway.
And if you watch this video 10 seconds from now, the number will be different. So don't be quoting us on it. So okay, there's not a whole lot of money in fintech as it relates to debt because the big players aren't interested in you paying off your debt. I guess you got to do it yourself is really what it comes down to.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of ways of doing it. I mean, you can look at Carrie Squawk Fox's. She's got a bunch of Excel spreadsheets. If you really want to go bare bones and you don't want to pay money for, budgeting and that kind of stuff, you can buy Quicken. You can run things on Mint. That'll help you do that. Some of the banks are offering sort of graphing things to show you graphically where you're spending your money, which is always helpful as well, just to see that you're spending that much money on penny whistles and moon pies or whatever you're spending money on. So,
well, okay, so when we have a script here, which we're now going to
never follow.
We're now going to
whenever I'm around.
Yeah, we're just going to forget
Script,
about
what's
it.
that?
I'll just leave it down here then. So you just mentioned things like Mint and some of these other software programs.
All have clouds.
They're all in the cloud.
Yeah.
So as I understand it, the cloud thing is taking my information and putting it in the cloud and sending it back to me. How secure is this?
Well, I mean, someone described the cloud once as you're just putting your stuff on somebody else's computer, which is true. Where is that computer? Well, that's an important thing to know. Quicken's cloud, I believe, is in the United States, although it may also be in other parts of the world. Mint's is definitely in the United States. So your banking information is now down there, all of your information. And I mean, this isn't just, like someone stealing my SIN number. This is knowing exactly how much money I'm spending, where it's going, how much money, can I move stuff around in it? So the banking laws are different down there too. And the security laws and the privacy laws are all different down there too.
So should I be concerned if I'm using one of these apps on my phone or computer that has access to all this?
So if you're using your phone for this kind of stuff, and I'm sorry, I'm shilling for Apple here. Never use public Wi-Fi. Never. Don't do anything on public Wi-Fi. That is just saying, here, Mr. Nasty Person, take all my money.
And so when you say public Wi-Fi, you mean I go to the coffee shop and log in on their Wi-Fi, that
Starbucks.
Sort of thing. Okay.
Don't use that. If you're going to do stuff like that, at least use the data on your cell phone. Like if you've got a Rogers account or a Bell account, do it on that. If you have to do it when you're mobile. If you're using your home Wi-Fi, you should be okay as long as your neighbor,
isn't hacking into you.
Well, yeah, it does happen. It does happen.
What's your password at home? You're not going to tell us.
Although I did have a Wi-Fi place that was called Bugger Off.
Oh, okay. That's good.
I like the one that was the NSA truck.
That's what I would go for. Yeah, CSIS or something would probably be good. So okay. So from a security point of view, then there's the access issue. So don't be using public Wi-Fi to be getting your banking information or all the other stuff.
Not. Absolutely.
And do you have any issues with the software itself? Or are you not as concerned about that?
The software itself, who wrote it? Like, where are they based? Are they to be trusted? Have they had data breaches? I mean,
Well, everyone's had a data breach. I mean, Equifax had a huge data breach. We've had...
Yeah, so if Equifax, and they're supposed to be protecting you, got broken into...
Well, I don't know if that's their business model or not, but yes, I get what you're saying.
They're supposed to be secure. I mean, that was one of the things they were selling themselves on. Everybody else is... if I put everything in one place, that's where everyone's going to look. And I mean, my silly little website is under constant attack for some bizarre reason.
And it's not me doing it.
Well, there's people in Germany and Russia and China that I'm going.
So you just said something. If you put everything in one place, that's where they're going to go.
Yeah.
So, well, isn't that the old joke that, why do you rob banks? Well, because that's where the money is.
Exactly.
And so I guess if I'm a hacker, rather than trying to hack into somebody's individual computer or phone or whatever, if I can go to the place where it's all stored, that'd be way better, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but the individual computers are always fun to break into as well. So you've got things like I've talked about phishing before, and then spear phishing, which is
and phishing is spelled with a PH.
Yes. Yeah.
We don't know why, but it just is.
Technology people love misspelling things.
Okay, so it's cute.
It's one of those fun things we do.
Yeah. Nobody knows why. It's just the way it is.
We're an odd crowd. But yeah, I mean, if you get an email and it says your RBC account is overdrafted, please click here.
Don't click here.
Even if you have an RBC account, don't. Like the CRA sent me an email a couple of days ago saying that their review of my taxes last year were in. And it was all over it saying, there is nothing here you should click. If you see anything here that you should click, don't click it. Right? Go to our website, log in using our clear login, and just don't click on anything. Don't click on most things. On my website, there are a lot of links. I try to make sure they're clean. I run software to make sure they're clean, but things happen. As soon as you click anything, there's a danger you're going somewhere where you don't think you're going.
There you go. And that all makes sense to me. So, okay, now I want to talk about, and I mentioned it in the introduction, chatbots.
Right.
Okay, so first of all, what is a chatbot? What am I talking about here?
Well, it's a cool piece of software. Some call it artificial intelligence. It's more just an ability to answer questions, standard questions from people. And some of them have voice interfaces as well. But if you're on a website and someone says, "Hi, I'm Bob, can I help you?" Sometimes that is an actual person. Like there are call centers in Kitchener around that have people that do answer that stuff. But in a lot of cases, it's a piece of software that has, hundreds of standard answers to questions. And the software says, if I type in my bank account, where did my money go? They'll try to parse something out of that and say, okay, you seem to be having a problem here. Can you tell me specifically what the problem is? The software has become much more sophisticated than when I was going to the University of Waterloo in 1980, many years ago.
Some years ago.
So,
hey, I went to university in the 80s. There's nothing to be ashamed of,
luckily we didn't have the internet or digital cameras,
I know.
But that's another podcast.
It was a different world back then. So these chatbots are getting more sophisticated.
Yeah, and they're kind of neat, because nobody likes to read those frequently asked questions pages. You go, I don't want to go through 400 standard answers. So if I can go to a thing online and type in a bunch of silly questions, they go, oh yeah, we do this, we do that. You can have this kind of account, you can have that kind of account. Our interest rate is this, et cetera, et cetera. They're all canned answers. So as long as you're sort of on the main street, asking main street kind of questions, the chatbot will work fine for you.
Now, you have a website.
I've heard.
CanadianFinances.com is what it's called. CANAJUN. I'm not sure if that's how you spell the word or not, but it is on your website. CanadianFinances.com.
Right.
And you wrote a blog post or an article, and I'll link to it in the show notes, which people can get over at hoys.com if you didn't write down CanadianFinances.com. Yeah. And you gave an example of a chatbot. So This is an example of what would happen. So exactly as you were describing, I go onto the computer and the little thing pops up in the corner. If I'm on my desktop, I guess it does the same on my phone. And the computer, the chatbot says, "Can I help with your banking?"
Yeah.
Okay, like a nice open-ended question, which I guess is what would happen if I phoned a human being too. And so you type in, well, not you, because this wouldn't happen to you, but I was late paying my credit card bill this month. What can you do for me? Okay, simple question. That's probably a pretty complicated question, but so the chatbot, as you said, has a list of standard answers to in that particular case. So it comes back and says, well, your late payment has been noted. A late charge is now outstanding on your account. Okay, because that's kind of an A or B thing, right? Now, if I'm talking to a real person, and what you did in this example was you went back and said, well, I realized I was late, but this is the first time I'm late. Can you give me a break? Now, if I'm talking to a human being versus talking to a chatbot, what do you see as the differences there?
Well, and this actually did happen to me a couple of weeks ago. I missed when I was supposed to put my payment in by a day. And I spoke to a person on the phone, and the person on the phone just went, oh, okay, well, let me go see. Oh, yeah, we see your payment was a day late, and it was over a weekend, et cetera, et cetera. And you've been a good customer. You haven't done this before. Let's see what I can do. And of course, the old used car salesman thing. Let me go ask.
Go talk to my manager.
Yeah. See if you're allowed to do this. Now, a standard thing, and chatbots may be able to do this sometime in the future, but I doubt you're going to. If you're running a chatbot, you're going to be wanting to give a lot of people a lot of breaks. So is it going to go, oh, yeah, I see that you're a good customer. You were only a day late. You haven't done this much before. So we'll forgive it, this time and let you get away with it. But, don't do it again type thing. I haven't seen an instance where a chatbot or a piece of AI would do that. Now, if you're dealing with an actual person who's on the other end typing with you, it'll be like me on the phone. But the chatbot is going to be very much A or B. Is there some fuzziness in there? Maybe they've been doing lookups and they see that you're a good customer and they're going to try to give you a break in some fashion. But have they invested enough money in the software to be able to do that? Not really.
I've never worked at a bank, so I don't know. But I meet with clients all the time, and I've been dealing with people for years and years, and if someone I'm meeting with, has, made, like in your example, I was late a day with my payment. Well, if I can look you in the eye and I can go, yeah, you know what? We all make mistakes. I understand. I can go in, I can reverse the charge. There's a personal connection there. How do they program that personal connection into software?
It's not as hard as you'd think. I mean, they're going to bring up your profile anyway, because if they know who you are, if you've logged in, they know
everything about you.
Yeah. Well, and whoever was watching you log in, it does as well. But that's just me being paranoid. Did I leave my tinfoil hat around here?
That's right.
Anyway, so the software itself can be relatively sophisticated. It depends on how much money someone wants to pay to do that. Like if they want people to, they want to get as much money as possible, not giving someone that option is perfectly simple. Just don't offer.
You don't give it to them. But can you program in empathy? Because when I go to the bank after having messed up and the customer service person looks at me and goes, well, okay, I can see that, you feel bad.
You're a wonderful person.
You're a wonderful person. And they don't have to look at my entire profile and see how long I've been a customer and all that. I mean, I guess they can. It's right on the computer. But it's really a personal decision that they're making.
Yeah.
Is that...
That's all doable. It's whether the bank really wants to do that or not. Are you going to get that kind of deal? I have not heard of a situation where you're going to get a deal where, like my Bell internet is about to expire, the great deal I got 2 years ago. If I call and I get a chatbot, or I go online and get a chatbot, I want the great deal that I got 2 years ago. Is it going to go, oh, yeah, he's a wonderful person? Or, no, we got him 2 years ago, and, next month it's going to go, double in cost.
Well, and so you raise another issue, and that is sales pitches.
Yeah.
So when you got that great deal 2 years ago, it was a sales pitch.
Yeah, it was someone at my front door. And Rogers had upset me enough that I just went,
So can a chatbot do the same thing?
Absolutely. Ramming sales stuff down your throat is something chatbots will do. Absolutely. You just mention any topic and they will start slamming stuff down your throat and start selling you if they want to, depending on how you program it.
So that's easy. Do you think chatbots will be different than human beings? Will they be more high pressure sales, less high pressure sales? Will they know every trick in the book?
Well, they're getting programmed. They're going to deal with salespeople. The people that program it are going to learn from those people. So yeah, they're gonna. I don't know if they'll pull dirty tricks, but they'll certainly use all the high pressure sales tactics they can. Talking about, oh, well, look, your checking account, you have $3,000 in there. You shouldn't have $3,000 in there. You should be taking $2,000 out and buying this wonderful mutual fund that has 4 or 5% management fee on it.
Yeah, and that's where I see the biggest danger in when I'm talking to a salesperson. They've got limited information in their head. Mm-hmm. That's all they know. And yes, they've got computers, but it takes time to look up this, that, and the other thing. Whereas the computer can know everything instantly about me.
It can certainly do a quick lookup, and more likely than not, there's been some background work going, hey.
Already been done, yeah.
Yeah, someone's already done this. So the next time we talk to them, try this,
Well,
try that.
I suspect if my credit card is delinquent and I phone the credit card company, I'm getting routed through to a different department than if I'm the best customer ever.
Yeah.
Because this one I'm getting a sales pitch, this one I'm getting a collection type call.
Right.
So the computer knows everything there is to know.
Pretty much.
And so does that not make it easier to pick the exact offer to sell me, to pick the hot buttons?
Certainly
Have
much better
homeowner, here's the offer we've got for
or
you.
we notice that you don't have insurance with us.
That's a good one. Yep.
Start upselling all of the stuff that banks sell now, which
is everything.
They don't sell water, but not yet.
I don't know if that's true or not, but let's assume that's probably true.
Upsell is the big thing these days. I mean, you can't even go to a 7-Eleven without someone upselling you something. So I mean, a chatbot would be the ultimate upsell point.
Well, and even if you go to a human being at the bank, they've got 3 things on their screen when you put your card in, right? And it's like you say, oh, you don't have insurance. Oh, I see you've got money over here. We could put it in a mutual fund over there. You qualify for a bigger limit on your credit card. Would you like a line of credit? My worry with the chatbots, which is really just the front end of a big, huge computer, is they've got every single possible offer, and they've got a huge history. For someone who's very much like you, here's the sales pitch that's going to work, because we get to test it out on 2 million customers every month.
Yeah, and I think that's where we're heading. Definitely, with it, as you take the human factor out of things, there'll be a lot more of the aimed upsell, for lack of a better term.
Aimed upsell. So, okay, practical advice then. I'm a human being.
Right.
And I know when I'm dealing with a salesperson, because this is something we've been doing our whole lives, right? Mm-hmm. When a salesperson comes to my door, I know they're a salesperson. When I go to the mall and walk into a store, I understand that the person greeting me is a salesperson.
Right.
When I go buy a car, I understand what the nature of the relationship is. But when I'm talking to a chatbot because I logged into my bank account and it said, hey, can we help you?
Yeah.
Is my spidey sense tingling when I'm talking to a chatbot?
Depends on your age, I think. I think someone our age might be a little less likely.
35?
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. If you buy that, I do have a bridge for sale. But I think younger folk would be more likely to think, this is a sales pitch as well, because they're understanding of the technology. Older folk, a little less. They might be thinking, this is trying to help me.
So millennials are actually better equipped to deal with this than old hacks?
Yeah, maybe not. I mean, this is only an opinion on my part. There's no great study that I've read of.
Have you done a great study on this?
No.
That's what we need, a great study. Well, and I can see how it could go either way. Someone who's younger has been using technology their whole life.
Yeah.
Whereas when we were kids, like you said, there was no internet. So it
was, but it really did stink.
We couldn't get to it. So whereas the flip side is we've been dealing with people our whole lives.
Right.
And so we're probably a little more leery or skeptical, we've had more life experience to get burned.
And skepticism is something that comes with age, I find.
Yeah.
Right? And like I'm just skeptical of everything. Everyone's trying to sell me something is my point of view.
And well, that's my point, and it's probably true too.
And if you go in there, and we're trying to sell you something too.
Yes.
I don't know what I'm selling, but I know what you're selling. Yeah, exactly. I don't have a book, but
you should write a book, and then you can put it on.
I've been told I should write
too.
a book, but anyway,
it's not happening. So practical advice then. Number 1, be skeptical.
Yep.
And so what else? How can I recognize when I'm talking to a computer that I'm actually getting a sales pitch?
If you're hearing a voice, you're getting a sales pitch.
Oh, there you go. If you're hearing a voice, you're getting a sales pitch.
Yeah, I just assume that. I mean, all the algorithms in the back end have biases. No matter how you write programs, there's biases in there. Mm-hmm. If I write it, I have my own bias on how things are going. So assume there's bias. Assume they're trying to sell you something. If it's something you need, then fine. Okay, try to get the best deal. And if you can't get the best deal, walk away. But these are the same stuff we tell people if they were going, to an insurance office or they were going into the Bell office or something like that. Get the best deal you can and be ready to walk away from it. Chatbots will gladly let you walk away, but they know you'll come back.
So Chatbots will let you walk away, but they know you will come back.
They won't do the old used car salesman as you're walking to the door. Wait a minute, I got one more thing here for you. The chatbot's not going to do that, but they know you're going to come back somewhere along the way.
Yeah, and I guess with the chatbot, there is no emotion. There is no...
it's very much just a set of
they're not offended that you didn't buy today, so
they might be back later to buy it.
Yeah, so that's not a big thing. So do you think, being a technology guy, that a guy, that's an official term. I think you have a designation that says that. Will chatbots cost people jobs?
Yeah. Well, I mean, tellers are going to lose jobs because of this. People in call centers are going to lose jobs. The standard, the people that will be answering the phones are going to lose the jobs. Will back-end people, salespeople like that lose jobs? I don't know. They could. As you build more AI into the system, you need less human thought going on in it. So, but definitely the standard tellers, there'll be a lot less brick and mortar banks and outlets like that. You'll be dealing online with everything. I mean, as we're taping this, we're coming up on Black Friday, the greatest orgy of spending. And I mean, it's all going to be done online, right? Mm-hmm. I don't even know if Cyber Monday is a thing anymore. I think it's just Black Friday just runs on for about a month.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. So again, you got to realize you're getting a sales pitch, be skeptical, and try to get the best deal that you can.
Right.
And if you're looking for a job, probably a bank teller is not a good career choice.
Well, no, I don't think so. There's a lot of jobs that are, were around when we were younger that are definitely not going to be around for much longer.
Well, I mean, it used to be somebody else pumped the gas into your car. That's not a thing anymore. There used to be cashiers at the grocery store. That's not a thing. Well, they're still there, but now there's all these, go through and beep it yourself kind of a thing. So, and that's all computer driven. Mm-hmm. Well, maybe not the gas pumping, but certainly the other things. So, okay, there's going to be some jobs lost there. So I think that's some good practical advice on the chatbots. Is there anything else on the security piece then that we haven't touched on? Are there any security implications with the chatbots as well, or with?
Well, with the chatbots themselves, not as much. Just make sure that when you're connected to them, and you haven't been somehow waylaid into some other weird world where you're talking to something that has nothing to do with the bank that you thought you were talking to. You're talking to something else. Finding that out is not going to be as easy as you think.
How are you going to know that?
Just be aware that that's possible and keep track of whatever conversations you've had or whatever transactions you do. Make sure you write them down or you keep track of what you've done in those situations.
So would you recommend I talk to someone on the phone and not talk with chatbots, or that's the way the world's going? So
that's the way the world's going is really one of the ways I've got. I mean, I like talking to people on the phone because I think I can, schmooze them into giving me a great deal. Yep. Now, I'm sure they laugh at me and hang up on the old guy who thought he was getting a great deal when he didn't get the great deal, and that's fine. But the security aspect of all of this is really, really important. I mean, your home computer is your fintech center of the world for a lot of people. Your phone is definitely it. These things have to be secured. You've got to put your antivirus software on there. You've got to make sure that these things are clean. If you're doing money transactions on your phone, how safe is your phone?
And so how do I know if my phone is clean?
It's not as easy as it is. Like on a PC, you've got antivirus software. You can get malware bites. You can do a whole bunch of other things. Norton is finally getting into the business of trying to put those kind of agents on your phones itself. But once your phone is compromised, a lot of times you're not going to know that it's been compromised.
Do you do banking on your phone?
I try not to. The only problem I've got is that I hate going into banks to put checks in, but due to my life, I get checks.
Now, a check is that piece of paper that has its money, right?
Right.
Okay, I've heard of these things. Yeah.
So the only way to really do that is to use your phone. You're taking pictures of the checks, right?
Yep.
Well, so I'm using the banking for that. So I have all these pictures of checks, and I have all these checks written, with things written on it saying deposited yesterday, kind of thing. So I'm kind of forced into. I'm not forced, but the convenience of being not going to a bank lends me to use my phone for that. Well, if my phone's been compromised,
you got a problem. Then? Yeah, and there's fewer and fewer branches. Yes.
Because they're all closing, and because of, there's now fintech and AI and chatbots and all the rest of it.
Right.
And so, I used to have to go to the bank to deposit a check. Now I can take a picture with my phone. Well, it's way more convenient.
Right.
It takes 12 seconds instead of 45 minutes.
Yes.
So I'd like to have the security of going to a physical branch and talking to a human being face to face, but practically speaking, I guess this is where we're at. So what should I be doing then? Just, hoping for the best? How, like with my phone? What?
Practice safe stuff on your phone. Do not, go browsing through weird sites online, weird emails. Do not click on weird things like that. It doesn't take much, as we saw in the last U.S. election, to have your phone compromised. Clicking on one link, suddenly everybody knows everything, or at least a whole bunch of nasty people know a whole bunch of stuff about you. And if you've got all your banking information on here, suddenly
Somebody
it's
else
available.
has it.
And it's going to get sold to someone else because, again, follow the money.
So practical advice then is kind of the same as what you do on a desktop computer.
Exactly.
Know what you're clicking on, and I guess we have to keep an eye out for, as they upgrade antivirus and malware and all those sorts of things, which are lagging on mobile devices as compared to what you get on a desktop.
Definitely on Android devices, it's a lot more Wild West. It's getting better, but Apple claims that the things, all the applications in their iTunes store and all that are clean. You can read articles that state otherwise. So make sure you're safe with this. You're safe with your PC at home. Do not use public Wi-Fi. I mean, I don't know what you can use it for other than maybe ordering a coffee. And even then, once you connect in there, they have access to your phone.
Yeah.
Don't use that.
So, well, there's a good place to end it then. That don't use public Wi-Fi. Is there any other advice or anything else you want to tell our listeners?
Fintech can be something good. It's not going to be something that's going to save you a lot of money. The banks are going to make a lot of money on this because they wouldn't think it was a good idea unless it was going to make them a lot of money. Investment firms, same thing. They're going to have high-speed trading. They're going to do all the good stuff they want to do. Is that stuff going to trickle down to you and me? Maybe, but not as much as you hoped. Like it'll be there, but not what you want.
So it's for the benefit of the banks and the big companies, not so much you and me.
No. And for shareholders too.
Yeah, so I guess
I'm a shareholder of banks.
So I guess that's how you take advantage of it then. And this is not stock advice. If there are
good God,
any,
no.
any
Do not buy
lawyers
stock on the
listening
basis
here.
of anything I said. I held
right.
Nortel for long enough that I'm an idiot.
And you can go back and listen to episode 160 if you don't know what Nortel was. So,
yes.
So how can listeners find you?
So I'm on Twitter as @BigCajunMan, which is you'll see a lot of the older stuff on there, but and some rude commentary by me on various things. I'm surprised I haven't been banned yet. The website is HTTPS secure.
Ooh, S.
Yeah,
S.
uses SSL certificates, so it's very important. / Canadian Finances, CANAJUN finances.com. I'm also pretty much everywhere else. I'm on Facebook.
Facebook.
Yeah, I'm that old. I still have Facebook.
Wow. And MySpace?
I was on MySpace. I forgot my password.
And what's your AOL account?
I actually still have an AOL account that I get email from occasionally.
There you go. We won't be publishing those. So I will put all of those links in the show notes so people can track you down. Thanks for being on the show.
Well, thanks for having me. And thanks for coming to the beautiful wintry capital of Canada.
Yes, I didn't realize that the snow started, basically after Labor Day here. But hey, it's been fun. I got no complaints. So that's our show for today. Full show notes, including a full transcript and links to everything we discussed today, can be found at hoys.com. And yes, in fact, we are also HTTPS.
Absolutely. Don't go to any website that is not HTTPS, and your browser will tell you if it isn't.
It's a secure site, so we've got that as well. So that's HOYES.com, hoys.com. Thanks for listening. Until next week, I'm Doug Hoyes. That was Debt Free in 30.
Ciao.